Welcome back to episode 6 of the Pattern Play podcast. I am joined by 4 hosts again, 5 if you include me. It is a packed group today. We got Von, we got Linz, we got Sal, and we got Balin again. Balin Door. That's what I'm going to call you from now on.
I see where you're going with this.
We won't bring it up today. I don't think it's going to come up. Maybe 3 times. To everybody listening, don't forget to hit the download button. Basically, Apple and Spotify don't really care if you listen to it. It's all around whether you downloaded it. I'm not really sure why, but I should know. I don't know. But what I do know is that you need to download it. So download it and then delete it afterwards after you've listened. So thank you again for listening to our podcast. We have a WhatsApp community where you can join the general chat. We chat football, join the FPL chat. We chat fantasy football. And join the questions chat where you can ask questions of the podcast. We've got 3 questions this week from, well, they're sort of diminishing in order of sort of IQ level for the questions. So we'll start off with the actual questions and then we'll end off with Manolans. Also, FPL League, game week 3. Don't forget to sign up. Game week 3 is the end week for us. We don't want anyone who's like, I don't know, lucked their way to first in the world joining our paid league and then they just win it without even knowing who we are or what this pattern play thing is. So if you are in the league, if you're not in the league yet, join. If you are in the league, good luck. Some of you are absolutely smashing it. I'm not one of them. Neither is any of the people on this podcast, except Sal. Sal, you had a pretty good week. Not as good as game week 1, but I think probably leading the pack for us. Let's start off with stocks rising and stocks falling. It was a pretty mad game week. I definitely have a feeling I know where Von's stock rising is going, but we may as well turn to you first, given what happened last night. Von, what is your stock rising for game week 2?
So, I think you have a hint, but I don't think you know exactly where I'm going because I'm spinning it up a little bit. My stock rising is football academies, guys. Invest in the kids because the kids are doing the things that the adults / 20-year-olds are not doing. So invest in the kids and don't let your kids go to other clubs and then cry about it. That's all I'm saying.
Shots at Chelsea. Yeah. Lenz, what's your stock rising?
Well, firstly, we don't give a damn about this real guy. And my stock rising is going on that tip to Esteval Willian. That's where stock rising took me in, because obviously Cole Palmer was out now, and it's just like, hey, come do the job. And to win man of the match as well, coming straight from the favelas. Even if I don't know if he's from the favelas, we have to say that to give it a nice story. Coming straight from the favelas to do that, yeah.
Straight from the fab. Balin, what are we saying? I doubt your stock rising is Esteval.
No, it's not. My stock's rising is Palhinha, man, and the Spurs boys. And I think also after
Palhinha.
last...
What was that, bro? Palhinha.
So Palhinha, rather. Yeah, Palhinha, rather. That, and I think after last night, Newcastle, actually, they might still be onto something. I think they put in a bit of a performance, and I think there's something to watch out for there.
That's an interesting one.
I think for me, I'm going to nominate 2. It's teams, it's not players. Everton, for one. I had a really good time watching them. I think they're going to turn some heads this season. I'm hoping so. You know, it seems every opinion we give here gets proven wrong the following week. So I don't know what's going to happen next week. But I enjoyed watching Everton. I think Grealish has the platform now also to express himself, to be himself, and he's at a level where I think his contribution is going to be well received, you know, and appreciated. And then the second one, I say with a bit of hesitation, but honestly, it's Arsenal. And it's an interesting one. As much as I hate to say it, I think there's something different about that team this season. I don't know. I have not enjoyed watching them play at all. But they're getting the job done. Right? And if you guys know what I mean, like there was a lot of emphasis from Arteta on certain tactics, on the style of play. And now it seems what I felt they were missing for a lot of years in that grit and experience as well. It seems like it's there a lot more now this season, right? It's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be glamorous, but you're getting the job done. So at the end of the day, 3 points are what counts. 3 points are what gets you closer to a title. So I'm impressed. It's upsetting, but I'm impressed.
I'll take the stock rising, but the thing with the stock is you don't know what its value was before before someone said it was on the increase. And I got a feeling with you, mate, Arsenal stock might have been pretty cheap on your side going into this weekend. I think there's a couple of good shouts in there. From my side, definitely, I'd already rated Chelsea really high. My stock for Chelsea is really quite high. So I don't think it's a stock rising beating West Ham for me. West Ham is so terrible, just as a side note, in that game. Wow. I think one of the worst teams for the weekend, definitely, again. But my stock rising, I think, is going to go to Liverpool, actually, in the sense that I know it's an obvious one, but you shouldn't struggle to beat a team with 10 men. But what transpires at St. James's Park, and St. James's Park is St. James's Park. And I know when my team goes there, Arsenal really struggled to get it done. And the physical vibes, the atmosphere is mental. The Geordies are just different people, really. And I think to get the win at the end, get the 3 points, I think everyone on this podcast, except for Von, was just hoping that Newcastle were going to either nab it or hold on to the point that was going to be 2 points dropped. Nice going into game week 3, but no. Instead, Liverpool got the rabbit out of the hat. And that actually takes us on to stocks falling. I'm going to kick that off. I'm going to start with maybe a team that hasn't really been mentioned on this podcast. Wolves. Wolves are really bad. And they should be worrying, really, about what this season looks for them. I know that they're considering selling Fabio Silva. I know he's not a striker that's actually involved much with the first team, but there's another couple of rumors around 2 more of their players, no rumors for inbounds. It just looks like a team a little bit like West Ham that seem to have just treaded water for a few years, just made it with a few key guys like Cunha, for example, who after you sell Kudus and you sell Cunha, what's left? And it turns out there's not an awful lot, and you need an awful lot more to create a good Premier League team. So I'm not really convinced by them at all. And then the second one is City. I said City weren't going to do well. And then in the last podcast, I said I had to go back on that. And now I'm going to back game week 1, Tim, and go, I was right. I swear, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with this team. I don't know what it is. I'm not clever enough or smart enough to figure out what's wrong. But something is wrong with City. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the Spurs curse, but there we go. So what are we saying for stocks falling for game week 2?
Bayern, Diego Dallo, Casemiro, Manuel Ugarte, Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United, Ruben Amorim. It's finished. It's over. I'm ready for another year of disappointment. It's done. It's done. I saw Diego Dallo attempt a step over, and I said it's done.
He's not Turkey.
He's not Turkey. Manchester United stocks falling. Pull your investments. So I am so disappointed in this club, man. I can't tell you. It's embarrassing. Honestly, I felt ashamed this weekend. I really did. So yeah, again, just like my stocks rising, my stocks falling. It pains me to say, but Manchester United, man.
Ouch. Von, next.
Sorry. I was just a little shocked there about Sal selling his own team down the river just a little bit. And like with me, the last time I was on podcast, my stocks falling was also Newcastle. But I think after yesterday's game and just to see the unity of the team, it takes them out of that. So my stocks falling this week is Aston Villa. Something is not clicking with Unai Emery. Something is not clicking with those players. I mean, the fans are still brilliant. I've been to Villa Park. I went as a Liverpool supporter, obviously, to go watch Villa play Liverpool, and I sat with the Villa fans very quietly. It was very hard for me. But those fans are incredible. They're absolutely incredible. And that stadium is beautiful, and it's just got such a beautiful history in football. But there's just something not clicking for me. And Unai last season got it right. And this season is just not meshing for me. So there are my stocks falling this week.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, I'm with one there. We're on the same page. But I'm not saying Aston Villa, I'm saying Unai Emery. I watched both of their games, 90 minutes long. Ollie Watkins as captain on my fantasy league. Both games, Unai Emery played 4 centre mids. No wing, no wingers. Morgan Rogers playing just behind Watkins. No service at all. I don't know what he's expecting. So, and it's not like he doesn't have wingers on the bench.
That's the
Daniel
thing.
Marlin is there, and Daniel Marlin played well in preseason, and somehow he can't get a nick in. Yeah, like because it's like, you know, when you self-sabotage to make sure that the board invests in you, I think that's what he's doing, but I really hope he gets fired, bro. No, you can't. I'm serious. You can't. That brand of football is dismal. It's dismal for a team of Villa stature and also the players they have, because you're wasting people's careers. And you know how it works in the Premier League. Morgan Rogers has one down season. He's no longer an 80 million pound player now, and his confidence falls just because Unai Emery is trying not to lose. Yeah, so it's him. I blame him. It's not the club, it's him. He needs to go, Black.
Sports and politics are like the only platforms where we can advocate people losing their jobs. It's just like, yeah, I hope you get fired. Yeah. But yeah, for me, man, you take off Ahmad and you bring on Dalo and you think you're gonna get somewhere. Like, it's got to be Man United, man. After the performance that we put in last week, and then to come a week later and literally play so well. The first 10 minutes, I mean, we were buzzing, we were flying. I thought, okay, this is it. This is it. Finally, we show what we're worth. And then 10 minutes later, all of us are literally, we're back to square one. We're asking ourselves all the same questions that we had last season, all the same concerns, all the same worries literally came back. We played the first 10 minutes well, and then 10 minutes later, we were literally saying, oh my goodness. It feels like last season all over again, or rather it feels like the past, 10, 12 years all over again, actually. So so I agree with Sal. It's got to be Man United, yeah.
Yeah, Man United getting 2 stocks falling, that's tricky. And Aston Villa getting 2 as well, tricky. Unusual to get such a consensus really on that. I got to say with Aston Villa, it looks exactly like what happened to Arsenal under Emery. You get that initial bounce as a club because Emery brings structure and he brings defensive unity. He does drill a good team defensively, but just like with Arsenal, over time, our attack started to collapse. And then if you don't have an outlet, Lynn said it, if you don't have wingers and you don't have an outlet, you stop having the ability to punch back when you get knocked in the chin. And then you start ending up in a corner and your arms are just going up and you're just blocking. Now you've got no out ball, out punch at all, no counter punch. And hey, man, it looked a lot like late era Arsenal under Emery. I remember a Watford game where we conceded like 32 shots or something. And I just sat there watching hell. And yeah, man, Emery is the devil in that sense for me. So if anyone calls for him to get fired, I'm always just behind it by default. I don't even need to analyze the football. I'm just there already. Liz, I'm with you, Vaughn. I'm with you. On the Man United thing, yeah, I think you guys said it really well. I think you put it in perfect terms. Let's move on to Liverpool as the game week 2 review kickoff. We got the reason we're recording this tonight instead of last night is because we really felt that this was going to be the game of the weekend. It was the game of the weekend. There's no doubt about it. Late winner, someone gets sent off under controversial circumstances. You've got to come back from a team that, is down to 10 men. Oh, you've got incredible atmosphere with the fans. This was just peak Premier League, man. This was amazing. I don't think we can go to anyone except Vaughn first. So Vaughn, thoughts on the game? How are you feeling?
Jesus, Gay had everything. And we were actually, when we were chatting on the group, we were literally complaining about it being on a Monday night. And now I understand why they put it on a Monday night. Exactly what they built this game up to be is what happened. It literally, like Tim said, it had everything. It had a red card. It had really, really rough tackles. The ref wasn't the greatest ref. It had a VAR. It had a concussion in there. It had fights. It had fans booing players as they're walking off the buses. It had mistakes. It had defense errors. It had end-to-end action. Yo, I think I might still be out of breath from watching the game last night. It was insane. From a Liverpool point of view, that never say die mentality that was drilled into us under Klopp really, really shone through. And like I said in one of the podcasts earlier, I really feel that Klopp's style of play and Slot's tactics are really merging. Sometimes when they play, and that's what I can see. Virgil was absolutely outstanding yesterday. I really, really think it's one of his best games that he's had. Dominic Szoboszlai at right back, my word, was he star performance, man of the match for me, 100%. Florine, I think he's struggling to fit into the Premier League a little bit. He's not getting the balls that he needs. He's not fighting for balls in that midfield, and that's what's creating the gaps. So we'll just have to see what's going on there. We'll have to give him a little bit more time. But everything has to go down to Rio. And the fact that Salah, who wasn't even in the game, gave him the assist. Dom gives him the little dummy. Rio comes on 4 minutes, and what a goal.
Vaughn, who's the actual assister? In your opinion, is it the guy who does the dummy? Because that, for me, is an action.
Yes, but he doesn't touch the ball.
So it has to be the person who does. So it's Salah for you.
Yeah, to me, you have to touch the ball in order for you to be the assist. However, if Dom does not do that, Rio doesn't get the ball because he doesn't pull the defender away.
Exactly. So, and the dummy is beautiful. It is so nice.
Because apparently Rio didn't even call for the ball. Dom just assumed he was there. And as a 16-year-old who doesn't take a touch first and just smashes it into that little corner of the goal, this kid's got balls. That's all I can say.
Dom should get that assist, man.
Yes. I'm with you. Because if you get tackled, right? If you get tackled and you haven't touched the ball yet, but you know when a player lets the ball roll over his body and they pick him up, they say it's a foul on the player because he's in possession of the ball. If you do a feint, for me, you were in possession of the ball, but you're just...
It's an action, like you're saying. I remember
the offside rule as well. If you make a play for the ball, you're still kind of considered offside.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of gets it, guys.
Like I don't know if you remember, like Chadley in the World Cup Belgium, where Lukaku dummies it, and then Chadley comes and finishes it off, and I think they beat Japan 3-2 or something like that.
That's a great call out.
Yeah. Anyway, topic for another day. Yeah, no, I think we got the game that we wanted. I was impressed with Newcastle, man. Newcastle are an Isak away from being a really disruptive team. They're just a striker away from being a really disruptive team. Look, I hope by the time the transfer window comes to a close, they can get a striker, even if it's the likes of a Nicholas Jackson or Johan Wissa. There's a couple chances that Anthony Gordon had in the first half that I think maybe you give to a striker, maybe he puts those away. I think he had a header there in the beginning. And so I think if you have a striker, the striker puts those away and you're talking about a completely different game. Liverpool, for me, didn't come to that game till Gravenberch just magically put the ball in the back of the net, and then all of a sudden, Liverpool had arrived. So yeah, I think, man, I was really impressed with Newcastle. They really took the game to Liverpool. Like you said, Bruno, Joe Linton, those guys will always be geared up, particularly for a fight, not a football match, but for a fight. And that's what they came to do. Hard running from Anthony Gordon and Ilanga. I'm enjoying Ilanga at Newcastle. I think he's quietly just going about his business at Newcastle. Good pace and always willing to take a defender on. And for me, a winger that does that job done. And I just think from Liverpool side, yeah, like Vaughn said, I don't think Wirtz has arrived, and neither has Salah as well. He's just on the pitch, and I'm not really seeing what he's contributing to the game. Seeing a lot of hard running from the midfield, but in that final third, outside of Ekitike, I'm not really seeing Liverpool connect the dots. So I'm keen to see for how long Salah will kind of just keep ghosting, but also just knowing him, he'll come the next game and do the same thing and then somehow finish it like an assist or a goal or get a penalty or something. And then Salah goes on a run of like the next 6 games or 7 games and he's scoring goals and assisting. So yeah, like I said, just impressed by Newcastle. And I guess ultimately we got the game that we wanted. Kudos to Rio, young man at the age of 16. Big game, big goal, man. So kudos to him.
Yeah, I think, when they say like the nostalgia merchants, they like to say Barclays, like a Barclays classic. I think that's what we got, man. Newcastle, I was laughing while I was watching the game. I think I said exactly what Byron said in the group. I was like, it's so funny because they're literally a striker away from being 3-0 up. So, but it was impressive because what they showed was, Isak, with or without you, we're fighters. With or without you, we're going to fight and we're going to take it to this very same team that you want to go to. I think they were very unlucky. I've realized the referees really love Liverpool in this league. And, I've never ever uttered that whole, I know Siobhan's going to get a little shaky with this one. But I really think, there's a lot of things that they need to check with this Liverpool team, man. There's pushing, there's shoving. That red card initially I felt was fair. In real time, it looked hectic. But he does try to pull out of that challenge, man. He really does try to pull out of that challenge. And it's football. It's part of the game. I don't know, man. It's a tricky one. I'm not saying I'm all the way against the red card. It's a tricky one. But I just think, Liverpool get away with one quite a bit. And either way, it made for a classic fixture. I think Newcastle was very impressive. I think the signing of Ilanga is quite a big one. I think Byron touched on it there. He impressed me a lot. The midfield of Newcastle is beautiful to watch. And what I loved seeing, the ability to also control their own tempo. They don't necessarily go at the tempo of the opposition. And it's something that's quite valuable in football, being able to know when to go, to know when to hold back, to know when to give it your all, to know when to, reel it in a little bit. They're really good at that. And they fighters, man. So proper football on show last night. I was very impressed. And shout out to this kid, Rio. I definitely think deserves that assist. I was screaming at my TV, not because I want Liverpool to win, but I was shouting, leave the ball, dummy that ball. And he did, and it was, fantastic to watch. I think as someone who's played football, as someone who loves to watch football, it was proper spectacle, proper goal. And congrats to Liverpool.
Oh, yeah, let's go. Nah, man, I'm just going to say Liverpool just don't look the same, man. I'm used to the Liverpool of last season with slots just looking so solid and just putting away games where now the past 3 games they haven't been able to hold Leeds. And that 2-man midfield, we spoke about it before on the pod, it's problematic. It's not going to work. You do it with the 2. The more teams with 3-man midfields are just going to overrun you in midfield. If anything, Gordon shot his team in the collective foot because it was a game that was there for the taking. The one thing is Liverpool do have the fabric of champions, because to be able to consistently just come back when everything looks lost. That kid Rio, when he came on, I won't lie to you, I saw him come on and I was like, he's gonna score.
Winner. Yeah.
He's gonna score. I was with my brothers and I said he's going to score. There's something about Liverpool that has like a folklore type thingy where it's like stuff of dreams happens when Liverpool play and you just have that feeling. So Newcastle go and score and it's 2-2 and there's something in you that's like, this game is not over. Liverpool are just, it's the ethos as well. Liverpool don't stop attacking. So the other team also doesn't stop attacking and it's just like someone will score and it's more likely to be Liverpool. So I will give them that and I'll give the kid that as well, that to have the temperament to score. That's the thing, to have the temperament to score. Because you get chances and you hit the post and everyone's like, yo, that's so close. But like, that's not memorable. Like the scoring is, and when you have that thing, you have it. He has that thing. He just backs himself. You saw him in preseason and he's the real deal. But what's happening at Liverpool, I don't know when or how they'll find the balance this season. I just think too much has changed even in the defense, where Konate as well now. Konate looks like he's at Real Madrid already. Whatever we see now, it's a shadow clone from Naruto. It's a shadow clone that's playing there at the back. It's not him. Big Verge has to do more work now, and he also looks like, listen, Father Time is also running next to him. Salah, we've said it before, and Soren Wirtz said it before, his Rolex is ticking. He's looking fake right now. I do think the jump to the Premier League is it's a lot, bro. And playing in that pocket right now as he is, he's not really a midfielder, so I don't count him as a midfield 3. So it's like when he plays in that pocket, you have to be so great creatively to like stand out, and you have to be the reason why your team is ticking, and he's not. Right now, Ekitike is that guy. Anything that they boot up to Ekitike, he's holding. He's able to turn, he's able to go on the break. He looks a phenomenal signing. It is just one of those things where I think that, I don't know what it is, where I think more people should be speaking about Ekitike, because it's like, it would have been so easy for him to not look as great right now because the whole Isak stuff and era, but he's been phenomenal. And just on Newcastle, if Isak plays in that team, are you guys telling me that team can't challenge for top 4? They can. It's like, and anything can happen in the league. So I think Isak needs to reevaluate. Even the signings they've made are very well suited for him. Like, an Ilanga is great for him. Guys like Jacob Ramsey. So it's like, dude,
he's great. Yeah.
Just come back, bro. Just come back. Just come back and play football, bro.
How many days has he got left? Oh, you know what? Before we get into how many days he's got left, Fawn, do you want to go back on some of those points around Liverpool?
I would love to.
Go on.
Okay, so let's start. Firstly, Salah. You might not see it, but this man has stepped into a very big leadership role. So as much as he's not actively playing in terms of scoring the goals and assisting, bear in mind he's got a goal and an assist in the first 2 games. He is actually calling plays on the pitch. So let's give him a little bit of a break. Let him lead. Let him teach.
Is he a coach?
No, I didn't say he's a coach. I said he stepped into a leadership role. So he's guiding the younger players into how to adjust to the.
But isn't that also a testament to him being at the end now? Because like, cool, you can be that, but then that just means as a player, what you're contributing as a footballer is not what it was. So you
He's
sort of
already got 1 goal and 1 assist.
Yeah, but okay, has he been playing well?
I think he's missing Trent, so he's not getting the balls that he needs. So that's a big difference, and that can't
That's a big mess.
ignored.
Yeah, no, that can't be ignored. But that's a yes or no. Is he playing well? Because you can score and not play well.
I mean, he's scoring and he's not playing well, but he's also making some great crosses. And I don't know if you remember the one that he got that Curtis missed yesterday.
The fact that we have to remember it.
He should have banged it though.
A lot of catalog to
Curtis
look
ended
at.
up kissing the post, guys.
No, I'm saying that there isn't a multitude of good things he's doing. So it's like,
Yeah, but if you're not playing the ball, what are you expecting? Let alone the fact that the ball was only in play for less than 41 minutes in the entire game because of all the set pieces. So if it's not open play, when do you expect him to be getting the ball?
Okay, so Ekitike can play well, and Jabuzai can play well, and all these other guys can play well, but
John was playing as a defender, so that's why he played well.
But what I'm trying to say is that, like, there's players who played yesterday who played well.
Ekitike had 2 shots and he scored 1.
Yeah, but he played well in general. Like, his link-up play was good. Yeah. His running was good. Salah got the ball. There was times where he ran into nowhere's land, nothing happened. So I'm not like trying to knock him. I'm just trying to say
stop his balls. We've lost 9 players, guys. 9. That's a lot of players to lose in a squad. So yes, there's gonna be some ups and downs.
You guys have spent like 300
people don't
million
play well.
Well,
our net spend is actually less than Arsenal and Chelsea. So
you guys have brought in big players. It's not like just let go.
We've offloaded big players.
No, 100%. But then, like, I hear the leadership chat, but like, surely Trent was a pivotal player to how you guys played and stuff like that. But Salah, you're the talisman of this team. Your job is to score goals and bring in assists. That's your job.
And that's what he's.
But he's just like he doesn't look. Maybe off like just the eye test. Salah doesn't look as involved as he usually does. And to be fair, he isn't.
Let's be honest. The eye test and Salah in the same conversation.
100%.
Never been friends. Never been friends.
100%.
general.
Chill out, guys. Chill out.
100%.
No, wait. I'm not saying
honestly-
anything about Salah that's disrespectful. If I'm going to say that there have been moments throughout Salah's career where he has waxed massive numbers, and if you watch in a game, he might fleet in and out of it kind of regularly, but then bang the goal, bang the assist. So I see Von's point around at the end of the day, if he's the guy at the end of it and has to get the goals and the assists, what are we expecting?
Yeah, okay. Let me rephrase what I'm trying to say so people can understand. Salah does not look dangerous.
He doesn't need to look dangerous if he's scoring and he's
No, but you're not understanding what I'm saying.
No, I understand.
If you guys were playing well last season and this guy looked like a dangerous part where the defense is actually setting up to stop this guy, and like that's a prominent thing in the defense's mind, it's not the same now. It's like, yeah, it doesn't seem like he's a factor in you guys winning. Like him playing well, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to say, where it's fine for now, but now when things dry up and he's not playing well, and who are you going to look at? What is it going to be then? Oh, he brings so much leadership, or the numbers aren't coming now and you're not playing well.
Well, lucky for me, I don't have to make that decision. That's up to Arne Slot.
Slot has something to deal with. Let's quickly move on. We have a City chat ahead of us. It shouldn't be too long. No one should ever spend much of their life thinking about or talking about Manchester City. That's just a philosophical principle I live by, and you know what? My life has gone pretty well so far. So let's have a brief chat about City. I don't know about you guys, but obviously in the last podcast, I had to sort of do a bit of a U-turn and say that City looked good in game week 1, and they did. Didn't look good against Spurs. But I'm not going to talk about City as much as I'm just going to kick off a quick chat about Spurs, because I think they're the more interesting team of the two on the day, in the sense that Thomas Frank is already showing kind of what he showed at Brentford, in the sense of the units, the space between the midfield, the strikers, and the defense is super, super small. And the space in between that center of the pitch, the cauldron, where, you know, they call it zone 14 or whatever the tacticos will call it, that cauldron where the cool stuff happens. Thomas Frank doesn't let you play games in that zone. And you can see it. Cherki didn't have that space. Reinders did actually have that space a few times, and he was underwhelming on the day. If anyone watched that game, you'll know what I'm talking about there. But City overall just looked like a collection of players that have been purchased over the last 12 to 24 months. Didn't look like a fantastic team, and Spurs looked like the cohesive unit of the two, which is kind of not what you'd expect. Frank has had, what are we talking about, like 6 weeks maybe less actually, to craft a team out of this club. And I never thought I'd be giving props to Spurs, but I am. And that's my thoughts on the City game. So where are you at on that loss for City?
I think with the prediction last week, I kind of said it all. Like I said, I don't see Spurs winning against City, but there's always this thing with City and Spurs. There's always this thing with City and Spurs, with Pep and Spurs. This time, though, it was different. Like you're saying, City didn't look like anything. They didn't look like anything. There was nothing impressive about them. There wasn't like this. You couldn't even put it towards an omen. You know, Spurs were generally just a better team on the day. And I was very impressed, and I'm happy to see it, because it's going to be cool to have a competitive Spurs in this season. I don't have any agendas against Tottenham. So, like, you know, when they do well, when they add a little bit more competition to the league, I enjoy it. So,
neutral Sal.
I don't support a London club, so I'm free from that hate. But no, I like Thomas Frank a lot. I think he's going to do really well. The team still needs a little bit more, you know, before they can be genuine, you know, front runners and title contenders and so on. But I'm impressed. I enjoyed it. It adds a lot of interest into the dynamic of the title race and the top 4 race. I said it in the first episode, that even though they might not be in the title race, they're going to disrupt the title race. They're going to be that team where, for example, as an Arsenal fan, if you're competing with Liverpool, you're going to look at Liverpool versus Spurs and say, you hope Spurs can do something interfere. They're going to be that team to turn some heads in that way. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what the season has.
I think with Spurs, man, Spurs are just quietly going about their business. And I think that's who Thomas Frank is as well. He's somebody that just gets the job done, man, goes about his business and does what he needs to do. I think with regards to City, you've got a City team blessed with talent, but I think at this moment, very little chemistry. We all know what these players are capable of individually, the likes of Cherki and Reinders and Haaland, but it just hasn't clicked as a team yet. Also, I don't know what's City's story with Foden, guys. I thought Phil Foden at one point was honestly like a top player, and now he's being sidelined, and then I don't know what that is. And I honestly just need to hear from Pep's mouth and Foden's mouth, like what's actually going on. Because at one point I thought, oh my goodness, no, this kid is the one. He was probably getting Ballon d'Or shots 2-3 seasons ago, and now he's sitting on the bench. And I saw when City conceded, he was actually sitting this. Is that number one of 3? Yay. But yeah, I saw when City conceded, he was sitting on the bench and he was actually smiling. He was happy about that. So there's clearly something off there. And I think there's clearly a lot of chemistry issues that Pep may have to rectify and fix in the City team before they really start clicking.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Spurs in terms of the defensive unit. It's just the weird thing is when you do analyze the goals, it was pure mistakes from City. First one, Stone slips and then Dust. And then the second one, Trafford. I don't even, when your mind just goes blank. When I used to write auditing exams, that's what used to happen. Your mind just goes blank. And then out of nowhere, you're saying there's 10 minutes left in the exam. That's literally what happened to him. Yeah, so it's things like that. There was something interesting I noted, and I was telling one guy who supports City. John Stones gets the ball, and Cherki comes short to come fetch it. And when you think about it, you're like, okay, that's a creative player. Give him the ball. Let him cook, for lack of a better word. Let him cook. But no, Stones, it's like he's got a robot mind. If I get the ball here, I'm swinging it out wide. And it's like, I think those are the things that where City becomes so predictable that teams like Spurs, who have like solid defensive units, who are playing with like 9 men behind the ball, that's easy pickings for them. You're not going to score against a team like that. So it was great to see Spurs do that and just stick with that. But then City, it seems like the same problem they had towards the end of last season. Just super predictable, and it just becomes easier for teams. And Haaland is not going to do something individually great by himself and all that. Obviously, you have a Cherki. Yeah, obviously you have a Cherki and them, but he's not accustomed to the league enough. And I don't think some of the players trust him enough to just give him the ball when he wants the ball. Like, yeah, when you have a baller, you let them do what they want. So I don't know if Pep is the new Pep we thought he was. I really hope he is, because Ryan Cherki is too good of a player not to be given keys. And we love seeing ballers like that in the Premier League. It's like when you see a guy like Eze, guys like that, Hazard, all these guys.
Streets will never forget.
Yeah, you get me. You get an excitement when you see them play. You want to see them play well. But yeah, these guys end up getting locked up by some sort of system that City have, which isn't great. But top plaudits to Thomas Frank. That was a solid performance, and I do think like João Palhinha coming into that midfield, my days, bro.
Balin, did you hear how he pronounced that first name and last name?
Those Spanish lessons. He's been taking Spanish lessons.
Muy técnico, man.
You need to get me on them. You need to get me on them.
Don't play, bro. Now, João Palhinha, he covers so much ground. He reads the game so well. I know he didn't have a great time at Bayern, but he's just one of those guys who just do well in the Premier League. And I just do rate him that much as a ball winner. And he somehow manages to get goals as well. He'll get you 4 or 5 in the league. Yeah, so Spurs, I'm very interested to see how it goes forward, because that attack is I don't know how long they can hold out throughout the season. You do still feel like they need something. Missing out on his is something, but like Sal said, there will be like a chink in a lot of people's armor where it's like, damn, why Mr. Spurs?
Vaughn, I got to ask for your opinion on something Mino has asked. Mino Pile, one of our close friends.
He's a Liverpool supporter too.
Yeah, another Liverpool fan, and he's asked a pretty ridiculous question, but I do want you to knock him out really on this one. Is Spurs in the title race? He asked.
Not yet, no. I think they're looking really, really good at the back. Their defense is looking really good, but unfortunately, they have this thing called Richarlison up front, and you'll see it whenever Liverpool play Spurs. He's always being bashed and battered and made fun of, and even poor Harvey Elliott will sit there laughing at him. So I think they're looking better up front. I just don't think they have the kill as yet. But maybe Mino's linking it to what Thomas Frank said, where at the end of it, where he's like, he actually used Klopp's tactics to beat City. And I mean, it's a little bit weird that Pep Linders is now working with Pep Guardiola as well. So there's that kind of link as well. But I wanted to ask you guys this. So to answer Mino's question, no, I don't think Spurs are as yet. I do think I agree with Sal. They will have a play in it in terms of sneaking points off people that will be in the title race and possibly, I don't want to say it, but like causing injuries and stuff like that will impact the teams. But no, I don't think that they'll be in the title race. I wanted to ask you guys, what do you, specifically with a game like this, do you think the Club World Cup has impacted City in the fact that they couldn't have a full preseason to train in and integrate their new players, which then resulted in them only playing a few games for preseason, and now it's trying to catch up where Spurs have had a full preseason and their new players could actually integrate better into the squad?
I think it's interesting. I think it's a very interesting one because I did think about this. There's two perspectives. Like the one would be the obvious one where you say, yeah, 100%. They didn't have much of a preseason in comparison to other clubs and it will affect you, right? Because one of the main things that was mentioned here is chemistry, right? How do you build chemistry? You train together, you play together. But the other perspective, and I'm sort of in the middle, I hate to be a fence sitter, but I kind of am, where the Club World Cup serves as a preseason to a certain extent, right? So like with Turkey, for example, you get to integrate into the squad and you get to familiarize yourself with the club, with the coach, with your teammates. So I think it's a very tricky one, but I guess it can be said because there has to be some explanation for why the chemistry is lacking. But I do think ultimately the robotic style that City have, which is what Linde touched on, is a big problem that they have. Freedom of expression in football is so huge. And I think a big problem, I know I'm drifting away from it now, but it's something I wanted to bring up. I don't think coaches should outshine players. And I think that's a big issue that we've had with this Man City team, where it's like Pep won 4 titles in a row. Pep dominated England. Pep this, Pep that, the Pep team, Pep football, Pep style. Not Manchester City, not the players, Pep. It's a big problem. And I think that's my biggest issue with the team. But yes, sorry.
That must fall. That must fall.
It's the only way, bro.
I get you. You develop these cults of personality around a manager sometimes, and you forget about the iconic players that made it all happen on the pitch. Because ultimately, and I do like the managers who say this, you can only manage until the 90 minutes start. You can shout on the sidelines. You can do what Arteta does, and psycho energy on the sidelines. You are impacting nothing, friend. Your only impact was in between the two 90 minutes, but ultimately it is in that 90 minutes where the games are won and lost, and that's by the players. Let's move on to Chelsea and Arsenal quickly. I thought that was an awesome chat on City, by the way. Although City fans won't be enjoying it. Chelsea and Arsenal, 5-star results, 5 goals, 5-1 against West Ham, 5-0 against Leeds. Let's do a quick run through. I'll kick off really. My feeling on Chelsea, my feeling doesn't change. Basically, I thought West Ham was shit. I thought Chelsea did exactly what I expected of them, which was to dispatch a substandard team. This proves to me exactly what I knew about Chelsea. João Pedro is a very good player. I really liked what Maresca did about putting him as the second striker, the SS there. That's an interesting role for him. If Delap's on the field, he's still relevant when Cole Palmer's not around. And when Cole Palmer is around, Delap goes to the bench because João Pedro is the superior player for me. Linde, What are we thinking about Chelsea? How are you feeling about the 5-1 win?
Yeah, man, it was dope. But the crazy thing is, it seems like João Pedro, Delap, and Palmer was scheduled to play together. And Palmer was going to play on the right. So, yeah, to be fair, yeah, I felt great that we were able to get the win, because not having Palmer and then going a goal down, I won't lie to you, Nick, if it was a season ago or it was under Poch, we would have lost that game. So it's nice to see the boys have a bit of temperament. Yeah, it's not too much to write home about in terms of the result itself, because it's West Ham at the end of the day, the dog crap right now. But I think we have a harder test against Fulham, and now we'll see. But yeah, it was good to see the boys running out, and like Estevao as well. That was good, man. Like, young kid, Brazilian, and yeah, Chelsea have a thing with Brazilians. Every generation we have Brazilians that we love, and I think this guy is the real deal.
Well, West Ham are terrible, man. West Ham are terrible. But yeah, look, I don't think we learned anything new from the weekend, from particularly those two teams. West Ham are terrible, and Chelsea are a good team. Should be title contenders. Cole Palmer going down just before, I think, kickoff, it was a bit of an interesting one, but you still never at any point thought that would really be a factor. I would have liked to see how that worked out with Delap and João Pedro and Palmer all on the pitch at the same time. I think West Ham probably would have just been in a little bit more trouble. Estevao coming in, he's refreshing. He's the kind of player that I like to watch. Somebody that's young, that's exciting, looks to create, likes to take on a defender. So, yeah, like you said, you guys and your love affair with Brazilians. And yeah, like, honestly, we learned absolutely nothing new. I just feel like that game was just such a boring way to kind of get things started off. It was just like, literally, let's just go on to Saturday, because we know this game is, we know what the outcome of that game is. So, yeah, I don't think we learned anything new from that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think it's also difficult to judge Chelsea at the moment because, again, I think they haven't really had a preseason as well. So I think with their opening game, the draw was a bit, I don't know how to explain it because it didn't excite me. And even Friday's game, I mean, such a high scoring game, it also didn't excite me because I feel like I expected them to completely thrash West Ham. Like, I expected that goal line, or that what is the word? The score at the end of the line. So it's a little difficult for me to make judgments on Chelsea. Do I think they're going to be in the title race? Yes. I think that this is going to be a very, very strong season for them. I think Enzo is getting it right with them. I think he's finally found a sweet spot. But yeah, I think Chelsea are looking good, but I think I'm going to need to see them play at least another 3 or 4 games before I can make judgments on them.
I feel like I've complimented rival clubs enough on this podcast. Like, no, honestly, man, like I'm actually getting sick of it. But so I'm just going to say, like, Chelsea were all right, man. Like they did what we expected them to do. I said it in the beginning. I think that they're going to be in the title race. This game, more so, I saw a complete depletion of West Ham. Like, I just think they are horrible, man. And I saw that more than I saw quality from Chelsea. And that's not a knock against Chelsea at all. I just think it was standard procedure, their performance. Estevao is a quality player, though. And I'm excited. Like, I'm really excited to see him. You know, Siobhan said it, invest in the kids, right? And I'm excited to see what this Estevao can do in the league. And I love that Enzo's giving him the chances, you know? Enzo's letting his players play, and it's fun to watch. It's an exciting squad, and I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, Palmer in the mix as well with João Pedro and Delap. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. So I think, you know, when they face like one of the big 6 clubs, even a Chelsea and Spurs fixture, I think it's going to be really exciting to watch, and that's going to be the real tell. So I'm keen to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you guys have described that perfectly. West Ham were terrible, but Chelsea dispatched them as you would expect for a title-challenging team. Arsenal, 5-0, Leeds. I don't think we need to spend much time on this game. I think as a promoted club, you come to the Emirates on a sunny August day and you're screwed. I've seen this in the flesh. The number of 5-0 in the sun in the sunshine at the Emirates that I've seen with weak teams like West Ham and Leeds and Everton and others. You're coming for a thrashing, and they knew it. And look, there's not an awful lot to say beyond the Eze announcement 30 minutes before kickoff was classy, man. There are little details sometimes involved in these things. Arteta apparently last season didn't like the fact that we have a tunnel at the Emirates. So one of those retractable tunnels, and then the players come through it. He didn't like that. Says it ruins the atmosphere. The players can't see the crowd during the tunnel. It doesn't intimidate people. And so they've removed the tunnel. I didn't really care about that until I saw Eze emerge from that area of the Emirates, not in the tunnel. And I'm like, oh, visually, this is a whole different vibe. And he comes out and he does that glance to the crowd as if to say, wow, I can't believe what I'm seeing. I was buzzing. I think it's brave to do that before kickoff because players can get distracted. It can be a bit of a mentality needs to be focused on the 90 minutes. If I was Arteta, I probably wouldn't have done it. But that's why they're in the job and I'm here on a podcast, right? Because they were right. They got it absolutely nailed down. And yeah, the Eze signing is looking incredible already. I will say Gyökeres had a really good game. The flip by Calafiori, a bit of open space. And what does he do? He cuts inside, kills 2 defenders and smacks it near post. That's exactly what he used to do at Sporting. And then the last thing for me, Dalman, 15-year-old kid. This is not normal. And we should definitely not think that this is normal. I don't know what is going on with the kids at the moment. Vaughn, you said it. Trust in them. Look, Rio is a fantastic kid, but he's a year and a half older than Dalman, right? Dalman should not be doing this. He's not allowed to get dressed in the men's changing room. He's not allowed to train with them on some days because he got GCSE preparation. This shit is not normal, and we shouldn't get used to 15-year-olds making debuts in the Premier League. In fact, I kind of hope they don't, because kids should be left to be kids in some way. But sometimes talent is irrepressible. Lynn said it before, talent's talent. And so I thought he was good. Penalty, maybe. I don't know. There was a bit of a trot on his toes, but in the same way he drags his leg. He's a clever boy. He knows what he's doing there. Any thoughts on Arsenal from the team? I don't want to spend too much time on this. I think it was a slam dunk. But any thoughts on Arsenal?
I just love the fact that Gyökeres went to go celebrate by touching his head to prove everyone wrong that he can actually score goals and touch his head at the same time. But yeah, I just think it's so important for teams to manage these kids properly and keep them down to earth. And remember that, yes, you are making massive, massive strides in your career, but it is so important to just remain a kid and do your studies and not have your cell phone on all the time. And it's just the little things, I think, that Chelsea will probably get right now, that Arsenal is getting right, that Liverpool are getting right. And I think that's what we need to concentrate on when it comes to these kids, is not letting it get to their head and just invest in them and manage them fully.
Agree 100%.
I know it's just Leeds, but I do think it was a big game for Arsenal. I think, after the performance last week, there was a few question marks, particularly around...
There's no game for us. It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's not.
How can it not be the same thing?
You guys don't have a Gyökeres that needs to find goals. Let me explain, dude. Let me explain.
It was a big game for Gyökeres, but Arsenal.
Who does he play for? Does Gyökeres play for himself? What are you talking about?
No, what I'm trying to say is, you said it was a big game for Arsenal. It can't be a big game for Arsenal.
It is I think. And can I give some context? Yeah, I think. Yeah, for obviously all the questions around Gyökeres and how you were supposedly found out. I think those 2 goals are a big confidence booster for him, and I think that can propel him and launch him into the next games coming up in the season. I think where Arsenal's seasons usually have been derailed, particularly when we talk about their title charges, it's never really been like the big games. These Arsenal will go beat Liverpool and then have 2 games left at the end of the season against Leeds and freaking Everton. And those will be the 2 games where Arsenal's entire season will be derailed. So now that they finally have a striker like Gyökeres, that he seems to play well against the small teams. That's supposedly his thing. Hopefully he can now come in and Arsenal can avoid, those little fixtures here and there that ultimately they're little now. Come May,
3 points.
April, exactly. Next year, you look back at that game and you say, oh, okay, actually, That's a big 3 points. So obviously, Leeds aren't a massive team, Linde. Arsenal did what they were supposed to do with them. But I do think for some individuals in there and for the team as a collective, it's a good 3 points.
Nah, definitely with Gyökeres, it was big. I think the biggest thing with Gyökeres was Odegaard going out actually helped him.
Good spot.
Yeah, but I think I said
Insane.
it before. The earlier you release Gyökeres, the better for him. This thing of waiting and then there's defenders on him, he's not going to be dribbling defenders when they're close to him. He needs to be released early. He's sort of like a Haaland. Release him early, let him get on the run. He's a force, then he'll score. So I do think against these smaller teams, especially the transition goals, like give him the ball quickly, he will score goals.
Yeah. He's one of those kind of classic number 9s. And I think you pointed out Odegaard. I think Odegaard sometimes slows down the play a little bit, whereas Ethan Nwaneri, who came in and played that position, really was pretty quick to move the ball away from himself, which is definitely not Odegaard's move. Odegaard has often been compared with another playmaker in the Premier League who had an interesting weekend. That's an interesting segue to Bruno Fernandes and Manchester United. Okay, let's
Sure.
a quick chat.
Space.
Let's kick off a quick chat about Manchester United. We don't need to spend too long, but I do think we need to chat about it.
No, this one needs time.
We need a segment, bro. This needs another podcast 6.5.
A spin-off episode. Yeah.
I think we got to kick off with the Man United fans. Balin, why don't you lead us into the conversation about this one? Man United, how are you feeling?
I'm worried, man. I'm worried. Amorim starting to do this thing that Ten Hag was doing towards the end. And I think a lot of managers started doing towards the end of their tenures at United is where they started playing too safe as well. He's doing this, like, he's worrying me. He's worrying me. This midfield thing is just not working out. Bruno Fernandes is struggling in that midfield. Casemiro doesn't have the legs. Ugarte comes on. He's a destroyer. And, you know, if there's one thing in modern football or just football in general, this destroyer thing where you have a player that only comes in to clatter people. You can't just come in and clatter people. Football, there's a reason we teach you first how to trap and pass a ball, because those are the fundamentals. If you can't play ball, what are you doing on the field just destroying people? You're destroying us. That's who you're destroying. Like, honestly. And then also, like, I know people are talking about Sesko not being fit and stuff like that, but like, you brought in a striker for 80 million or 70 million or whatever amount you brought him in for. And then you still go play Mason Mount, solid player, great on the ball. But I'm like, it's just not working out as well. We need a focal point. There's so many times where Cunha and Mbeumo have the ball and we try transition and then they all just chilling outside the box and there's no focal point. And then even just like the wing back thing, I don't think I can't comprehend what Amorim is actually trying to do. Like, I don't think United fans can tell you what Amorim is actually trying to implement, what he's actually trying to do here. And we just, like, you know, I was watching the Newcastle game as well. Teams, especially big teams, can will their way to scoring goals. Like, Newcastle willed their way into scoring 2 goals yesterday. United, I just can't seem to figure it out when it comes to getting goals. We can't will ourselves to goals. We, like, it's a Euro who heads the ball off some guy and then you get a lucky flick into the back of the net and then we just don't look like scoring ever again. I don't know, man.
I just think, look, pray for United, man, genuinely, because no, it's rough. It's actually very rough. Like, when you think about it, nothing works. Nothing works. Ten Hag comes in. Ten Hag, why are you not playing the way you used to play at Ajax? Why are you not sticking to your philosophy?
Exactly.
I don't have the players to do it. Okay, fair. Amorim comes in. He sticks to his philosophy. It doesn't work. So nothing works. So now when nothing works, the only option is to throw in the towel. Honestly, because no players work. No system works. It's a mess. We're the most insecure football team I have ever seen. We'll start a game guns blazing. Bruno Fernandes will miss a penalty and it's like everybody's head just drops. It's almost like everybody was walking around the pitch going, we're a failure. We're never going to be good enough. We're never going to make it after the penalty miss. But then before that, everything was vibing. We were creating chances. We were flying. And even though we played well against Arsenal, like I was speaking to somebody about this, we don't control games. It's either 100 kilometers an hour or nothing. There's no control. This is what I was saying about Newcastle, knowing when to give it your all, knowing when to reel it in, dictating the play, playing at your own tempo. We don't do that. We don't control football games. And I don't understand what this coach is doing with the system. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like, you're playing Bruno Fernandes in a position that favors Kobe Mainoo, and you're leaving Kobe Mainoo on the bench. Right? A position that Kobe Mainoo plays. He's not playing as a 10, he's playing as an 8. Right? He's laying a lot deeper than he usually does. And it's not working out for him. He can't dictate the game. He's losing the ball continuously. Then Mason Mount has a good game against Arsenal, and then you decide, okay, let me run with it. Let me play Mason Mount again. I love Mason Mount, I really do. But that shows me that you don't know what your strongest 11 is. It means you're taking it game by game. You play one game, you see a player does well, and you're like, okay, cool, let's give him another go. So you don't know your strongest 11, but you're not rotating. You're not giving the other players a chance. You say in an interview, we've got a striker now. There were a lot of games last season where we lacked a striker. You don't start your striker. It doesn't make sense. You play Cunha and Mason Mount in the 9 positions. It doesn't add up. And also this formation, I'm sorry, my brother, it's not working out. It's not working. Hello, I don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, Linde.
Even just quickly, like teams are taking penalties and set pieces. He's got his head down. He's so nervous. He's not even watching the game unfold. There's certain times where, like Fulham had a corner, Ruben Amorim's got his head down. He can't bear to watch.
And
I'm like, what?
With him, it's almost like he's sitting on the sideline, acting like he has nothing to do with it. Like he doesn't play a part in what's unfolding on the pitch. Like there's no responsibility. And that's been the case with every single United coach. That's no ways, man.
You guys are in hell, man. You guys are in hell, bro. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. The first episode when I was on the pod, I said that like I'm leaning on believing in this Amorim guy. But when I was watching the Fulham game, there was a point. I don't even know what minute it was, whether it was before Bruno missed the free kick or the penalty, yada yada. I just said to myself, this is not gonna work. He's never gonna get it right. And there's this thing in football where people stress for managers to be given time, and I was one of those people as well. But I've just realized now that football has evolved too much. There's too much at stake, and the teams around you now are so good that if somebody gets a span of games where they're terrible and they show you that they're terrible, believe that. Because if that person doesn't turn it around, they do more damage in the long run. So like we saw it with Eric Ten Hag. Ten Hag staying for that extra time after that season ended was one of the reasons why United are in the position that they're in now.
Get us back.
You have to cut the thing immediately when you see a problem. So it's like right now, obviously, you can see the problem simmering. But then there's certain things where it will be a clear sign that he needs to go. If he does not beat Burnley,
yeah, it's done.
You have to. It's like there's certain situations you're just not helping yourself, because it's like he doesn't beat Burnley, then the games that come up are so pressurized, like super, super pressurized situations where United have a thing where especially under Oli, where it's like, when the lights were on and everyone thought they're gonna lose to big scores, then they do something. That luck runs out, bro. So if he let's say draws to Burnley and then they go play City and they lose, and then they play Chelsea, then they lose, bro. United has what, 1 point out of a possible what? Somebody do the maths. I don't know, 15 or whatever.
A lot.
Exactly, a lot. 1 out of 15, brother. That is relegation form. You get me? And then now it's a thing of how long can this guy maintain this thing of we're gonna suffer? Bro, I'm sorry, bro. If you wanna suffer, be it at West Ham. I look at United and I look at United and I look at them as like Real Madrid. Like the Real Madrid of England, where Real Madrid don't have time for below standards. Real Madrid, you can't finish 16th. Like, where did this thing come from? Where United are just like, yeah, we'll build like everyone else. We're gonna build like Brighton. You're not Brighton. You're not Brighton. You're United. Like, act like it, bro. Like, get this guy gone, bro. Get this guy gone. Go get the best
Second
manager.
head rolling.
Go get Zidane. You said, what did you say too?
The second head rolls for Linde tonight.
Nah, man. No, bro. Unai Emery, I'm just in my feelings. But this United one, I'm serious because it's sort of like United are so big. They're a massive institution. We grew up with these guys winning leagues like crazy.
yeah.
So it's like, why would you take chances on these fly-by-night guys, bro? An appointment like Mourinho made sense, bro. Appointment like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that does not make sense. That does not make sense. Go get Zidane. Go get somebody like that. Somebody with a proper resume. How has Carlo Ancelotti not coached United?
Yeah.
Things like that don't make sense. You're a big club. Stop acting like a small club. How is this guy selling you movies, bro? How is he selling you movies? How is he selling you movies? You get me? This is like owning Stir Kinnickle, but somebody's selling you a movie. Bro, I own a theater. How are you selling me a movie? I want to put things in a DVD. I own a theater.
Prada shoes,
Get this guy gone, bro. Get this guy gone. I just don't believe. If he does somehow turn it around, I'll put my hands up and say, but I am really of the opinion that this thing in football of time, it's going away, bro. It does not exist. If your club is not at least maintaining a top 4 finish and you're a traditionally big club, that manager is not for you, bro.
Do you agree, Vons?
I do. I really do. And I was raking my brain now trying to think of something that I could add to it. And the only thing that kept coming to mind is, one, I genuinely believe that most of United players and staff don't play for the badge anymore. They play for the paycheck. And that's one of their biggest problems, besides not having an identity. But the second thing that kept popping into my mind, and I hate to say it, is what Rashford said, is Man United keeps saying that they're in a transformation period, but you can't transform unless you're going to transform. And they keep doing the same thing regardless of how many managers and players they bring in. They keep trying the same thing and it's not working. You're not transforming because you're not changing. And it doesn't even make me happy that United are losing anymore. I feel sad because I miss the rivalry. I miss fighting for positions with you guys.
Yeah, I think you're all right, to be honest. I got to say, Sal, what you mentioned about the formation, I just don't understand watching a Man United with 3 centre-backs on the field. Like, I'm sorry, a 3-4-3 or a 3-5, whatever. It's for small clubs, man. This is something that relegation candidates do because they're worried about the space between the centre-backs and the full-backs. It's not a real formation for real clubs who want to do real things. The only one I've ever seen make it work at an elite level, Antonio Conte at Chelsea with Victor Moses and whoever the heck was on the other side. That was it. Alonso. There we go. I don't see elite clubs using this formation. This formation is to stop elite clubs playing the football that elite clubs play, which is attacking football. Anyway, we've had a cracking conversation. That was a decent one. I think we've done all the big games for the weekend. Shall we just do a quick game of the week while Jude is not here so that we give Linz an opportunity to go level 3-3 with Jude, or another opportunity for the rest of the hosts on the podcast to start the catch-up? We've got another player. This player is, I think, still playing. I hope so. Should have done my research. It's another player with a decent Serie A background. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you one hint before we kick off, because I think it should help, because this is a bit of a difficult one. 120 goals in 366 career games. That might help. First club for the Who Am I game of the week is, and it's the club he played for the most, Juventus in Serie A. No club before. First club, Juventus. He goes on loan to Empoli first and plays a season at Empoli. Then he comes back to Juve as a youth player, and then he goes back out to go on loan to Parma before he comes back to Juve, settles as a first-team player, and then plays several seasons in Juve's first team. At the same time, he breaks in for Italy and plays 23 games for Italy's national team before wrapping up his career at Juve and moving to Toronto FC in the MLS. Nah, nothing so far. After Toronto FC, the guy goes to Saudi to join as one of the first Al contingent. No? And after Al Hilal, he gets tired of Saudi and comes back to Serie A to end off his career very recently with a move to Sampdoria in Serie A. Do we have any guesses?
My head wants to say Totti, but I'm wrong.
Nope, not Totti.
How old is this player, bro?
Right now, this player is 38.
Justice.
That goal to game thing that you gave me threw me off completely.
Yeah, that's
Winger, wide forward.
Italian.
Italian. Played for Italy first time in 2011, then played in the Euro 2012.
Vinco.
Bang. There we go.
I thought of Patrick Jovinko. Oh, damn.
And I was thinking of
The MLS thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. Finally.
Well done, Sal. Finally, a point on the board. All right. Jude must be so happy right now that Liz did not pick up a W on this one.
The thing, that's the first guy I thought about. Then I was like, nah, man.
That's what I'm saying. It threw me off completely.
Did you guys
good career.
watching Serie A after the whole match fixing saga went down in like 2007? Because that's when I stopped watching Serie A.
You have to watch, bro.
that's why. It's still a movie. Still a movie.
Still a movie. It's still a movie, but it's also one of the few people I think who breaks out at a big club and doesn't have a few clubs before making the big breakout at Juve. So it kind of started at the top and then trickled off to Sampdoria. But anyway, I always thought Giovinco was going to end up at another big club like a Real Madrid or a Barcelona. He just had that nifty sort of winger style. Maybe a Napoli was a good move after Juve, but hey, never happened. Anyway, folks, that's an hour and 18 minutes we've been going. So let's call it there. Thank you, everyone, for, if you managed to make it this far, thank you for making it this far. You listened to Ballon d'Or talk some nonsense again, but thankfully nothing about Amad Diallo. This was a lot more of a reasonable session for you, Ballon. I'm starting to get used to a reasonable take. You're not the guy sold you as, but there we go.
Don't tell me with a good time. Don't tell me.
Exactly. Well, listen, Von, Lynn, Sal, Ballon, thank you very much for another entertaining episode. Audience, thank you for making it this far. And we'll be checking in for episode 7 ahead of game